Long ago, a pact was made between man and the dwellers of the wood. By the terms of this agreement, men should keep to their villages and paths, scattered through the vast forest like embers of light. What lies beyond belongs to other, older masters, creatures of ancient magics who don't look kindly upon trespassers. Despite the pact, daring souls still choose to explore the woodland labyrinth in search of adventure, treasures, and secrets. Welcome to Witchwood Adventurer, where your destiny awaits. Destinies Witchwood is a new expansion for the highly acclaimed Destinies. Witchwood offers you the chance to explore a folklore-inspired, fantastical world. Take on the role of an intrepid character seeking to fulfill one of your possible destinies. Destinies Witchwood, on Gamefound, October 25th.
Hello everybody and welcome to Witchwood. It's live on Gamefound right now. Let me know in the comments if you can hear me coming through, and hopefully you enjoyed, if you haven't seen it already, that amazing Witchwood trailer by our friends at Onero. George, who works there, and his team are just incredible people. We're so happy with that real thematic creepy setting. Hey, Toby says, hey, let me know if you can hear. And Malcolm says, huzzah, back again. Took a long time to get at the table, but we are loving it. Time roller. Whoops. It's been a long time since I've seen you. Who knows which wood is your favorite wood? We can hear you, says Kyle. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate that. It's always good to know. Quicksand, nice to have you here. Nice spread. We've got people on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. That's amazing. Getting a bunch of different people in today for launch day. And it's been an incredible launch. It's only been, let me get this right, 3 o'clock UK time, so it's been 5 hours, so it's really crazy. Josic! Josic! It's good to see you. It feels like it's been forever. Man, I used to do live streams every single Tuesday. We played through all of Kingdom Rush with Bree. It's been far too long since I've been here talking with you all. And it's really nice to be back. I'm not going to try and say this. I've been with Lucky Duck for 2.5 years now, and my Polish has not improved. Which I can say smacznego, and I'm even forgetting on good morning and thank you now. Dziękuję, dzień dobry. Good day, says Richard. Hello, Richard. Love to see you. Good day, all. Is that an Australian good day, all? This is amazing. Missed you, bud. Toby, big heart with fingers for you, sir. Missed you too. So what's the plan? Well, we've just launched. The campaign's going great guns. We may even hit 200,000 in terms of funding, but maybe 2,000 backers, which would be incredible if we could do that during the stream. My plan for this stream is to kind of walk through the campaign, have a chat about some of the bits and pieces that are on there, maybe give some insight into some of the details that are elusive or might get missed easily, and then to answer your questions. And the comment section has been non-stop since the campaign started. Loads and loads of questions. So we'll definitely get in and cover a whole bunch of those. Miss watching Kingdom Rush lives. Maybe we can get some more lives, even if it isn't Kingdom Rush. Well, I know for a fact that Bree is going to be live later today on the Rolling with Rock, ROC, Twitch channel, playing some Destinies, I do believe. And yeah, I think probably in the not too distant future. Do you know what I think happened? Con season happened. You know, you hit that heavy period of UK Games Expo, and then Gen Con, and then you've got Spiel at Essen, and then we're preparing for PAX Unplugged, and we've got BGG Con, and it's just like, and we had the French Paris et Ludique as well, and the other one that the French team will murder me for forgetting, which is like 2 weeks long. It takes over a whole town. I'm going to forget the name of it. And there's Rolling with Rock. That's me. Hello, sir. Great to have you in. So after my stream, go and follow Rolling with Rock on Twitch and be ready for Bree's stream later today. So yeah, I think more streams could be around the corner. We have some amazing games such as Flamecraft. We've got the new Sherlock Keys connection, and we've also got Tidal Blades Banner Festival. So yeah, and yeah, to be honest, we never did finish the Kingdom Rush expansions. I actually have them just hiding up the back there. The JT versus Gerald Lightseeker, and also the Vesna and Moloch expansions, they need played. And Elemental Uprising is going to be coming next year as well. So much content. But anyway, all of that aside, we're here to talk about Witchwood today. I've dimmed my lights. I've got my spooky, ethereal, ghostly, witchy, woody lights on. And we're going to go and have a chat about the campaign. So, we're literally 4 backers away from 2,000 backers. Three backers away. I'm not even moving. I'm not going to jinx it. 2,000 backers would be incredible in 5 hours. Can't wait for Banner Festival to deliver. I know it's like such a glorious little game. It's just perfect weight. Really good to get people in and give you those rewarding, tactful decision making with that glorious Mr. Covington art as well, which I just adore. I'm going to jinx it now. Maybe I'll just scroll away and I'll scroll back. Now I'm too excited. I feel like I put pressure on it. I'm just going, ooh. One backer. I'm assuming everyone watching is maybe backed. If you haven't backed, just go on back quickly. You can back for €1, and you can, or $1, and you can always go and change your place later. That's one of the questions we always get. Yay! 2,000 backers on stream. That's incredible. In a matter of 5 hours, that's truly amazing. Really better than I think we could have ever hoped for. So what an amazing day one. That's fantastic. 2,000 backers. Super chuffed. Super chuffed. Actually, do you know what I should say? Before we start talking about the campaign, I should talk a little bit about like why. Let me get my CV seconds. Why Witchwood, right? Destinies, was a campaign that ran in 2019, first of all, and it had a great fandom and it really was super compelling. And on getting with backers, a lot of backers picked it up quite ravenously. It was really picked up very, very eagerly. And we realized that even when the base game came out to retail and then Sea of Sand came out to retail stores as well, there was a real hunger for the game. It really landed very well. A lot of people were putting it in the top 10s of the year. So in January of this year, we decided, well, hey, we might want to do some more Destinies content. But if you don't know this already, in the first campaign, we had backers design the Myth and Folklore expansion. It was the exclusive expansion for that campaign. Backers chose the monsters and the settings and basically built up these individual scenarios through choices and community votes. And we thought we should really engage the backers again at the start of this year and kind of find out what they want. Now, we put a survey out for a few days, and I think, do you know, I had the number earlier on today. How many people replied? So it was about 600 responses we got, which was actually a really good proportion. I think it was like 10% or a little over 10% of the backers we had, which was really, really fantastic. And we listened to those like devout players who were interested in giving feedback, and we asked them questions about the games they played, how much, what they liked about Destinies, what they didn't like, what they enjoyed, how many scenarios they played, also what kind of content they would like to see, what themes they would like to see, and indeed what add-ons and things they would like to see. And we really listened to what the backers were saying, and then went to work like earlier this year, starting to plan out, looking at artists and sculptors and settings. So this Slavic, folklore-inspired, whimsical world that's been presented in Witchwood really came. Oh, look at that picture! Exactly, €2,000, 2002 backers couldn't be more perfect. Oh, thank you so much. It really came about through backer energy and just the general feedback and consensus that we were given. And it's one of the reasons we did the storage box, for example, which I'll talk about a bit later, because that was requested by, I think it was 76% of people that answered the query were like, the survey were like, yes, we want a storage solution. So like when you have those kind of direct backer relationships where they can tell you what they're after, it's an amazing thing. And one of the reasons we really love crowdfunding, and something like, undoubtedly we will do more in the future, especially with the community scenarios that are now starting to appear in Destinies. Hurrah, 2K. Thank you, Malcolm. It's amazing. Thank you so much for your support. Richard says, in my opinion, the storage box and new content bundle made it a no-brainer for myself. Hopefully a good no-brainer, not a bad no-brainer. Kyle said, random question. How much extra shipping for Bound by Fate and metal coins? Honestly, so Kyle, I'll be really blunt with you. How this works, I'll give it in short, is we get together what we think the pledges are going to be and what's going to be in each one of those, and then we contact shipping companies, distributors, and we ask them how much it will cost them to ship those kind of 4 options. We don't normally dive into all the individual breakdowns of everything until we get to the pledge manager stage, and at that point we kind of do it by half kilo increments, or we do it by item increments, whatever way we have to for volumetric weight. So I can't unfortunately tell you exactly what it's going to be, but depending on where you are, it could be anything from a couple of euro or more, maybe to €5 more. I can't give you specifics, unfortunately. That's why we kind of go with these estimates. Hey, fella. Hey, Stu. Lovely to have you here. So long time no see. So yes, that's just like a little. Oh, and Jason as well. Well, this is really like a bit of a. It's like a bit of a reunion this evening, isn't it? I feel like I should have brought a whiskey and we should have just chilled out around the Witchwood fire together and had a good natter. It's been far too long. Okay. Can I put one? Diva says, can I put €1 and in the pledge manager get the exclusive? Yes. Like, so something you may see. Hey, look, Ash, nice to see you, sir. Something you may see quite a bit, and we're really big on this at Lucky Duck, is we don't really like to support, what people would associate with fear of missing out. So FOMO or fear of missing out. So what we tend to do is we try to keep all of our content from the crowdfunding campaign also available in the pledge manager. So first, to answer your question, David, yes, absolutely. If you pledge €1, you can come along in the pledge manager, late pledge, and go for whatever you want. To be completely open with you, you don't even have to pledge €1 if you don't want to. The benefit of doing so really is you can get all of those updates and keep up to date with what's going on, which is a really helpful thing for us and hopefully for you as well. But what we tend to do is anytime we have items that we're not going to put out into the wider retail distribution, so these are normally niche or special or upgrade, things that really we wouldn't expect to sell thousands of, or something just specific for the crowdfunding backers, because we know you're valued people who are going to appreciate things like metal coins and 3D flags. What we tend to do is we say they're Lucky Duck exclusive, so you can get them on the campaign. If you don't get them or decide you're not sure, later on, if we've got stock left over, we'll pop it on our website. Or sometimes we have select retail partners as well, who we're really friendly with or who work closely with us, and we'll sometimes sell them directly to them as well, so they can give them to fans in their community. So it's the way we kind of go about it to try our best and kind of offer up everything consistently. But the thing is, it's best to get it. If you think you might want it, it's best to get it now, because it guarantees getting it. We can't guarantee we're going to have hundreds and hundreds of copies of things after the campaign, because we always deliver backer pledges first. Kyle's asked the question that I literally cannot wait to answer, but I'm not going to talk about it just yet. But I will talk about it on the live a little bit. Oh man, there's good questions. There's really good questions coming in. Let's talk about some of the questions and then I'll come back to the campaign, because there's been 3 back-to-back great questions there. So first of all, Kyle, what are some of the improvements to the solo mode that you all are making? So I don't want to give too much away, because we're going to do a full update about this where we give it in writing and really kind of clear detail. But as you know, Destinies is a digital hybrid game. So it requires the Destinies app. So we've got the Destinies app with Destinies, Sea of Sand, Myth and Folklore, and also our community scenarios now that people are making, creating, uploading to our website, and they become instantly available in the app for anyone to play. What this does is a bunch of things having the app does, but one of the great things it does, it means we can actually tweak some of the settings in the app based on feedback and queries that we've got. Now, I'm going to just go ahead and open up a scenario here. I'm just going to pick one. So when you play, usually, it's not going to like it. Too shiny. Be less shiny. There we go. So what you have is normal, challenger, explorer, and bound by fate. So every scenario you play, you choose one of those 4. So normal is 2 to 3 players. Solo has 2 different options, and I'll talk about that in a second. And then Bound by Fate needs the Bound by Fate expansion, which allows you to play 2v2. So 4 players in 2 teams are going against each other. It's really crazy great fun the way that can evolve. But anyway, solo mode. Right now, there's Explorer and Challenger. Now, Explorer is going to be unchanged. We're not doing anything to Explorer. We're leaving it as is. It is the free to roam around the world, no time constraints, minimal pressure, and literally you can go and enjoy the story, visit all the locations and points of interest and characters, and evolve it as far and as free as you want. Explorer literally is Explorer. Now, when we released the original Destinies, and as it stands now, the second mode, Challenger, was specifically that. And in the rulebook for Destinies, if you read about the Challenger mode, I believe it literally says something along the lines of expect to fail. You will fail. To defeat the Challenger mode, you need to have an almost perfect game. Like, you need to do the story once, do it twice, explore in different ways, find where you can get the items you need, find the people you can recruit, and literally get the perfect path to your destiny. It makes it almost like a thematic puzzle that you're trying to solve. And really, you're given very little leeway on time and ability to make mistakes or to not succeed at challenges. What we're going to do, and I'm hoping we will release this for free to the update as an update to the app, during the campaign. I hope to do this, and I'll confirm it in writing in the next few days. We're going to take that challenger mode and we're going to evolve it and turn it into a multiple level of difficulty challenger mode, where essentially you can choose an easy, medium, hard being essentially where it is right now, and a medium and easy, which is going to give you a few different tweaking changes. So more or less days, more or less rounds, essentially, more or less reward for each of the things that you do and choose to do, easier, maybe slightly more difficult skill tests. Essentially, we're going to give you a 3-point scale. So you'll have solo mode for explorer, go and do whatever you want as long as you want, no pressure, or challenger, easy, medium, and hard difficulties. And we'll have full details to kind of talk about that. But that's essentially going to be something that requires no extra purchase, no extra content, nothing physical. It's just something we're going to do in the app to essentially update the rule set and give you more versatility. So that's the plan. I will have more details from the studio team. They're going to be working on it. They are actively working on it. And hopefully, before the campaign ends in 17 days, we will update that to the app. Hopefully that answers your question, Kyle. And you can let me know, please, in the chat what you think about that. Matthew said, are we obliged to use an application to enjoy the game? So Matthew, yes, you absolutely are. The Destinies game requires the Destinies app. It's 100% mandatory. And there's many different reasons for this. You can play it on Android devices, on iOS devices. You can also play it on Steam, whether that's Windows or Mac OS or Linux. But the whole premise of Destinies is that the device is acting as a games master, as the storyteller, as the world that's reacting to you, the characters that are reacting to you. And it's proposing the challenges, it's remembering what you do, it's creating random events, and essentially it's allowing you to scan cards or choose how to interact with people, whether you decide to get into a fist fight with them or try and dodge around them or scan a card to throw a torch at them. Whatever it may be, the app is what's driving all of that and reacting to you. And the world is going to remember your actions, what items you've got, who you've befriended, who you've done well. And that is more true in Witchwood than it's ever been before, because Witchwood is the first of really all of the scenarios and expansions, the base game expansions, where we're actually having some extra baked in detail of world through the scenarios, where characters you might meet as you're playing through scenario 1 may come back in scenarios 2, 3, or 4, impacted by your decisions. Potentially come back, I don't really want to give too much away, but potentially you could have a character that you may come across as an NPC who might later become someone you could even play as in a future scenario. So the app is really what controls and manages all of that, allows you to save the game and carry it all through. So for us, it's huge. And then the final thing, I mean, there's a bunch more, but really the final big thing for me is the community scenarios. We're just at like the starting point, I really feel, of like the building up of people making their own content for community, for scenarios for Destinies. We have 8 different scenarios in there right now. And I really would love to see more and more content made that people can just upload. You can play for free. You can play it privately with your friends. You don't actually have to do it publicly. You can actually just get a private code to play your own scenarios at home or share it with people personally. But if you make it publicly available, then anybody around the world can play it right in the app and download and play it there. And that's something that really in board gaming hasn't really been seen or done before. It's totally unique, totally exciting. And if there's any of you out there who are like fans of like modding or fans of taking a game system and then making something for it that actually uses all of the back infrastructure and the kind of backbone of it, but adds a new level, like I want to see someone make a Destiny scenario that acts like waves upon waves of like enemies and minions and demons coming at them, and you have to go and interact with them and essentially stave off an invasion. I want to see someone make a tower defense in Destinies, because it's possible. The Destinies community editor is a story-driven tool for people to create stories and interactions, but it's also very free and open, where how you go about that and what you do. I know there's a scenario in there right now. I must grab it. Which when I saw it, I was like, that is brilliant. This setting was, I'm going to call out somebody right now. So I'm going into the community scenarios. I'm going to go to page. No, here we go. So Jamie Robertson has uploaded a scenario called Murder in the Extreme South. It says there was a murder in the town of Villaricía recently, fubbed by the Spaniard conquistadors in Chile in 1554. The priest asked the help of the Inquisition because he's afraid that someone has summoned a demon. Like, what a completely different setting, completely different like basis than anything that's been in Destinies before. And Jamie has got the scenario in there, ready to be downloaded and played right now. And when I saw that, I was like, yes, that's this creativity and this complete different aspect that means we could end up with more and more scenarios available to play than we could ever produce just on our own, you know, with the authors we have internally. So to answer your question, Matthew, am I obliged to use an application to enjoy the game? You need an application to play the game. And hopefully, if you try it, you will enjoy it. It's definitely been a digital hybrid game or an app-supported game that we have released that has had a resoundingly positive reception. So hopefully, excuse me, that went down the wrong way. Kira says, how do the new modules affect gameplay? Okay, let's dive into the page a little bit and talk about how the new modules affect gameplay. So let's go to the adversity module first. So again, I want to just mention before I dive into this, talk a little bit about why we did this. One of the kind of, you know, pressure points with something that's story driven and very thematically orientated is Destinies tends to be quite mechanically light. So it's very easy to get into the game and just explore and go and just make decisions based on your character. I do that all the time. Like, I should give the witch the frog because that's what she wants to be happy, but I really like the frog and the frog is my friend and his name is Ben and I don't want to give him up. So you could play Witchwood in that very thematically, you know, strong but mechanically light way. But we had quite a few requests for more depth, more asymmetry, more tactical choices, more kind of, you know, weighty decision making and rewards for making choices that were not just based on the story. So what we decided to do was come up with 2 different modules that are essentially small packs of cards and extra components that will expand your game on any scenario of Destinies you play. Anyone at all. Like, it does not matter which one you play. You can use these all the time. So the first one is the adversity module. So I'll pop this away here just so we can see it a bit better. So this adds basically providence to the game. And we'll share pictures of these in more detail. We put a couple here, but the idea is that, so you can actually see on this card, it says you're going to gain these respite tokens. I think, yes, respite tokens. Anytime you basically get at least 2 successes in a strength test, and the ability awakens if you're able to get 3 of these respite tokens. So there are these cards which essentially will give you the opportunity to play a bit more tactfully to gain a bonus in the game for your character. But the flip side of that is there will also be these adversity events that are going to basically come up and give you challenges. So for example, this one says, if you wish to trade, you must pay a gold. But if you do so, gain an experience. So times are tough. And again, they ask for more with these precious wares. So there's going to be these rotating cards that are going to be constantly giving you challenges that if you manage to do them, you will get bonuses in a different place. And it's going to affect all the players and give all the players at the table in the scenario their opportunities, basically. So the cool thing about this one is we've added in these respite tokens, so all players will be able to gain respite, and in some cases expend it or hit these triggering points that they can then convert or augment the cards. And we've added an extra main and effort dice in here because there'll actually be ways to potentially gain temporary boosts and bonuses or one-time effects based on how you perform. And these are more like deciding how you move, who you talk to, what kind of tests you do, forcing you to think a little bit more tactfully than narratively. And as I say, this is really something that's going to be a little small box that you can just grab and add in if you want to, just to make a scenario a little bit more interesting. And it will come with a little kind of rules introduction that just shows you how this works. The boons, so these are essentially these effects that you can trigger once you've overcome enough adversity, basically. So that's the first one. So the adversity module is basically overcoming challenges, tactfully choosing to get hopefully a benefit in the long run by playing to the current setting of the round, essentially. Now, the second one is the character traits module. And this one's a little bit more straightforward, but also a bit more diverse, because the character traits model basically gives you asymmetrical powers. So you'll get a range of different powers at the start randomly dealt to you, and they're all unique. So I think it's 30. Am I saying that right? Yeah, 30 unique character trait cards. So you'll get a choice to choose one to give to your character. So you'll have your unique destinies, but you'll also then have something that defines the type of character that you want to be, or the kind of things that you want to do. And essentially, these can also be changed and modified as you go through. You will gain these fate tokens, which you can then spend. Now, each power works very differently, and again, we'll share a few of these in a future written update so you can get a closer look at some of the cards, but you can use them to change or alter or affect different, essentially, triggers after you've gained these fate tokens by doing certain things. So one we've got here is you're going to get a fate token anytime you get at least 2 successes. Oh, I've actually realized, is that the same card there? Oh, that's the Providence version. Okay, so it's actually slightly different, but this is actually specifically to character trait. I will double check that though and make sure we haven't duplicated that, but I do believe that's correct. So this again is just a small little module that you can pick, put in the game if you want to, and it works with any Destiny scenario. It's just going to give you a little bit more difference between each of your characters when you're playing, and give you a kind of direction to go to potentially get more benefits from what you're doing. So that's the 2 modules. That was to Kira. So thank you for that question. I'm going to scroll down because I realize I probably should catch up on a bunch of comments here. Toby says, are there any true co-op scenarios planned? So no, there are not. And the reason for that primarily is that Destinies is built as a triangle, an interlocking kind of triangle story system where the 3 characters that are in a story, and every scenario has 3 characters specifically written for that world, they overlap with one another. So essentially, if you're playing with 3 players, each one of you will be overlapping part of your destiny in some way with the other ones. Now, in Witchwood, this gets a little bit more intricate, a little bit more varied. It becomes a little bit more deep than just simply, let's go and grab 5 silver items to slay a werewolf, for example. It becomes a little bit more intricate and a little bit less unclear. Instead of just searching for 3 people to help you, you might be looking to befriend a mythical creature. Which creature, how you might befriend them, where you might find them, that might be unclear. That's where you're really going to have to go and explore and decide the ways to go about it. So that system really kind of, from a rule set point of view, dictates the way Destinies plays. And when you read the rule book of Destinies, it's really designed to be that way. Now, can you play Destinies co-op if you were to make a custom scenario, a community edited scenario? Yes, you can. But you would have to essentially choose to ignore the rules that have been designed and written, and you'll be heading into untested territory. So what I would say is Lucky Duck Games do not plan on making any co-op scenarios for Destinies as it is now. But we hear a lot of requests for it. Like we really do. And we are certainly listening. And it's one of, actually, if you don't know if you've seen it, but down here, this is the Dark Quarter, which is a game which is very much focused on New Orleans and very dark supernatural horror co-op investigation. It's one of the reasons we decided to work with Van Ryder Games on the amazing Dark Quarter, and work with the likes of Evan Derrick there to put his writing spin on it, because we heard the really requests for narrative co-op driven games. But no, in Destinies, no co-op scenarios planned. David says, hi again. I guess they'll be rewarded throughout the campaign. And hopefully, I assume we're talking about the modules, and if we are, yes, essentially as you're playing through, they will be. Sounds amazing, says Panda Angel. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you commenting. Toby says, my son Louis is also watching. He's very interested in playing Destinies. Do the community scenarios get edge ratings, even unofficial ones? Do you know what, Toby? Currently, I don't believe they do. However, I do feel like that is something we should definitely consider. Now, we do have community guidelines that are very strict on what content can or can't be put, well, what content can't be put into scenario to keep them essentially friendly and appropriate for, for tabletop audiences, and to stick to kind of the adult level of maturity that we have in the game currently. But we don't actually have a suggested edge rating per scenario. That is something I'll take away, actually, and see if it's something we can look to do. CJD looking cute today. All of chat is looking cute. I think all of chat. Andrew Phillips, nice to see you. You look familiar too. And Matthew, you're very, very welcome for the answer. Thank you for your question. And Kyle, thank you for yours too. Super excited for that solo mode update. I really needed something between the 2 modes to fully enjoy the game while playing. So yes, Kyle, we totally hear you, and hopefully that will reward you and you'll enjoy that. It's the haircut, says G. As and befriending random animals, name a more reliable combination. Hey, George. Lovely to see you. George Nero, who had the trailer at the start. That was amazing to have you here. And hey, Board Game Brie, you're very welcome for being here. I'm going to skip I'm going to scroll. Oh my goodness. Hey, Steph. I'm not sure if you're still here. I realize I've missed so many comments. Hello, Steph. Dark Quarters is amazeballs. Thank you so much. Lukash, can you show some pictures of the storage box or say something more about it? Yes, so I can. Now, I can say more about it, but unfortunately, I can't show you more pictures right now. But let me head down to the add-ons. We'll just go to the deluxe storage box itself. So here's the plan. This is the plan for the storage box. We want to make it as compact as possible. So that really is goal number one. Goal number one is keep it small. Now, the currently estimated size, I believe we have it. It's not on that image. Oh, I need to get it on that image, don't I? I think we have it on. Oh, I need to get it added to that, don't I? Because I have it here. I'll make sure it's in the FAQ. I think I put it in the FAQ. So we're currently estimating that it's going to be about 220 millimeters high, so about 22 centimeters high, about 27, 28 centimeters long, and about 27, 28 centimeters wide, essentially. So that's roughly what size we're expecting. But really the main goal of this is to store everything gameplay orientated. So base game, the Witchwood expansion, the Sea of Sand expansion, Myth and Folklore expansion, Bound by Fate expansion, all that glitters scenario pack, the 2 modules. Plus, if you're replacing your punchboard tokens with the upgrades, that'll be your medieval coins, your experience coins, and your miniature points of interest flags. It doesn't store the neoprene world map because, to be very honest with you, this 70 centimeter by 70 centimeter by 70 centimeter playmat is just too large for us to realistically store it. And similar kind of issue with the player mats, just how thick and how dense they were. It just didn't really make sense. And so our current plan, and we've got actually the manufacturer at the minute is already making white samples of this, and hopefully I'll be able to share a video and some pictures of that actually during the campaign. So we're testing out the kind of opening of all the drawer systems, but the idea is the bottom will be for all the heaviest parts. So essentially that'll be your punchboard tokens, your map tiles, your cards, essentially everything dense. And we want to have it organized in such a way that you can find everything really easy. So for example, if you're playing a Myth and Folklore expansion scenario, you can grab the base game components and the Myth and Folklore components and be done. You can grab the Myth and Folklore tiles, the base game tiles, and be done. You know, just essentially make it as clean and easy as possible for you to get it. And all that heavy and dense component stuff on the bottom. What's very likely then to happen on the next tier up is all of our big minis. So that's a Addon, the Gargoyle, the Jinn, the Baba Yaga hut, essentially all the massive miniatures with potentially some of the larger medium miniatures in there as well. And in 2 trays, the second one from the top will be medium and small minis, and then the top one will be a chocolate selection box of small minis. We will also have either on each tray or potentially just printed on the inside a guide for how to pack that all together, because each one will be its own individual vacuum form tray. Now, we really want to compact it down as much as possible, but here's the thing: there's always a balance between, I've actually got decks of cards here. That's the smallest a deck of cards can ever be. Like this, for example, that's the smallest it can be. But if you need to separate them into 3 different sets because they're from 3 different expansions to make them easy to store and find, then you start to give up a little bit of space because you're going to, make that tray fit them. Which means it's a balancing act between making it as small as possible and compact as possible, but also as user-friendly and as easy to store and quick and accessible as possible. So our goal is to try and balance the both and just make it really friendly. We'll then have this front folding up flap that'll go all the way to the top, slip in at the top with magnets and a little ribbon pull at the top as well. That's kind of what's being tested at the minute. We're testing the structural integrity of everything and how it's going to clip and clasp together. So unfortunately, we only have this picture right now. I'm hoping during the campaign, I'll be able to share a little bit of the white samples that are literally being made at the moment. But the trays themselves that will store the minis, and then kind of big minis, and then all of the cards and tokens and everything at the bottom, that's probably going to be a couple of months away. I don't think we're going to have that to share during the campaign, I'm afraid to say. But I will definitely share an update specifically in the box, answering kind of a few questions there, so people can get a bit more information outside of the live stream. So hopefully that gives you a bit of information on the box. And forgive me, it was... Oh, I'm trying to scroll up now. Yeah, it was Lukash. Yeah. I think you posted on YouTube and Facebook. Nice, love it. Give me double numbers. So scroll down. Let's see. Oh, there's a war going. Bree and Steph are starting a war from Twitch. So Derek says, do you play with both modules at the same time or choose just one? Oh, is anybody from the studio in chat right now? So here's the thing, Derek. You can play with either or. I'm going to say you can play with both at the same time, and that's not an issue. Please don't hold me to that. Please don't hold me to that. But I'm gonna. Do you know what? I wonder if anyone in the studio in Poland is still awake. Hopefully, someone's still awake. I'll. Do you know what? I'll find an answer for you, and I'll put it in the FAQ on the campaign, Derek, because it's a great question. My gut says there's no reason at all you can't play with both. But boy, if you play with both the asymmetrical character powers and the providence and adversity, if you really choose your turns well and you're able to gather respite and fate tokens from each module well, you could get some real power turns. Like you really could get some power turns. So yeah, that's interesting. I want to say yes, but I'll put it in the FAQ when I find out for sure. Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna try and see if I can if I can translate this. Can I copy this somehow? No. Oh, let me copy the comment, please. So it's bonsoir, hello. Okay, que sera possible as you Witchwood and 2v2 extension. I really want to say this. Is it possible to play the 2v2? There's Carol. So hold on, I'll come back. So Carol, designer of Witchwood, says you can play both modules at the same time, makes the gameplay a bit more card heavy, but they do work together. So thank you, Carol Francine. That answers the question for you, Derek. So you will. I'm going to come back to that question. Bree says, so he's asking if you can play Witcher with the 2v2. Thank you, Bree. I couldn't copy that comment. So Kayoshiro, hopefully you can understand me. Apologies for not having a French person to reply to you. But Witchwood can be played, and All That Glitters scenario pack can both be played with Bound by Fate. So they actually come, if I go to what is in Witchwood. So Witchwood has items, characters, but it also has Bound by Fate cards in it. And so for All That Glitters, if I head to so All That Glitters, this one, will also come with the Bound by Fate cards. I'll actually head... I need to find out it's inside the pledge, isn't it? So if I head to this pledge and go to All That Glitters, you'll see here. So it actually inside it has the map tiles, the miniature, the Destiny, the scenario, and then it also has Bound by Fate cards. Now, you do need still the Bound by Fate expansion, but because the Bound by Fate expansion came out 2 years ago, it didn't have these, but we've put them in the box already. So yes, you can play them, but you do still need the Bound by Fate expansion. Sir, from Greece, Evangelist, thank you so much for being here. It's lovely to see you. And thank you so much for your amazing videos, amazing coverage of Witchwood. So let me go back. I think I might have missed. So we answered Derek's question. Yes, you can play with both the adversity and character trait modules at the same time. Rolling with Rockets, when I saw the campaign was priced in euros, I went, great, I have to convert the cost, but then check the euro and dollar are 1-to-1 right now. It's so easy. Yeah, it's honestly, look, I'll be very open with all of you here. It's a tough time at the moment. You know, the industry is fluctuating a lot. The dollar and euro are closer than I think they've been in 10 years. It's really a very strange time. So initially, when we started designing the campaign, we had it in dollars, and then we eventually had to switch it to euro just for the sake of just organization and financial accounting. So hopefully everyone, with thanks to Gamefound's functionality, can find it and get the information converted easily. But it's it's a changeable time right now. So Derek says, will it have a pull-out organizer for easy table gameplay? So this is a great question, Derek. So at the moment, the plan with the Destiny storage box is that each one of these will have a single vacuum form tray inside it. Now, quite a large one, not the size of like a Ticket to Ride box, but nearly that, with kind of like 10, with like a quarter cut off at the back. But the idea is that it'll have one tray that you'll be able to slide the whole shelf out. We don't plan currently to have it so that you'll lift the trays out of the drawers. The drawers and trays will kind of like be harmonious together. So you'll slide and grab and push, and then push it back in and store it. So right now, as it stands, we don't plan on having like a tray that you lift and set on the table. We actually talked about it. So we did. And I'm looking for my game trays, because we have these amazing little storage trays called game trays. And we actually said, are there enough components in Destinies to warrant a tray that sits on your table that you can draw from? And honestly, there's gold coins, there's point of interest, there's trade markers, and there's experience. And we were like, do you know what? Not really. We don't feel like there's such a significant amount that it would make that big an impact. So we're going to instead focus on just really a very good tray for the storage itself rather than a tray for tabletop presence. But I will not rule it out because we're still in that stage of kind of like going back and forth with the factory, working out what's possible. But for now, it's not planned to have a tabletop tray that you'll actually lift out and set up while you're playing the game. The storage, so Stu says, is the storage designed with or without card sleeves in mind? It is designed without. Well, that's to say without in mind is not fully true because we talked about it, we argued about it, we went back and forth on it many times. We've been sleeving cards, looking at how much it increases the density, how many cards when you stack all the item cards, especially the item cards, together for all of the Destinies and expansions. And we decided that what we would really like to do is offer a storage solution that focused on just keeping all of the components tight and snug and really well organized without sleeves. So this was a conscious decision, and we know that definitely, we've heard it in the comments, and I really do appreciate, especially as a big card gamer myself, that a lot of people do like to sleeve their cards, but we don't plan on doing the storage solution like that, unfortunately, with space. Now, I will say this. I saw a few people asking in the comments, is there any way they could, affect or change or alter the storage solution so they could have sleeve cards in it? Technically, and I'm going to say this now, and it kind of pains me to say it a little bit, but the top layer will be miniatures. The second layer will be miniatures. The third layer will almost certainly be all miniatures, if not probably all miniatures, and we hope to be able to kind of bring everything together in that bottom big layer so the box sits with all the heavy components at the bottom. If you really wanted to take that tray out and put all of your cards in there sleeved without the vacuum formed tray, organizing it all, and you just wanted it all in a big sleeved pile, I think it would probably work. It pains me, but I think it's each to their own. It's each to their own. So if you really wanted to do it, you could do it, but no. Short answer to the question is that there'll not be natural space for sleeve cards in the vacuum formed trays. Toby says, will the storage box have space for any potential expansions? Well, this is a really good question. It's funny how people's different minds works, because someone, as soon as we posted on Facebook that we were going to do a storage box, like an all-in-one storage box, one of the first comments was like, does this mean the end of Destinies? And I was like, oh, what a negative spin. But actually, yeah, very astute observation. So essentially, this setting of Destinies, which started with the base game in sort of medieval France, dark, mythical, apocalyptic lore, which then went into myth and folklore, which was more fantastical and a bit more strange and magical, and then into Sea of Sands, which was North Africa and a bit more siege and historical orientated, and now into Witchwood, which really cranks up the whimsy and folklore and a bit more light, a bit creepy and dark as Grim Tales like to be, but a bit more light. These are all kind of coming together to form the Destiny setting now, and we don't plan on releasing any more physical content for this setting. Okay? That's the way I'm going to word it. You can interpret that however you want. But everything on the campaign, from the first campaign and the Witchwood campaign, which are all available now on this one, essentially will be inside that box, apart from the neoprene, and that's that. You don't have to worry about a future expansion coming along. If there is going to be future Destinies content, it'll be a new setting and it'll involve a new base game. We'll not be expanding this one again. C Jack DC, is the app available on PC as well as on phones? Yes, it's available on phones and tablets and laptops and PCs. It's accessible via Steam on PC. Steam, which then works on Windows, Mac OS, or Linux. So you have all three operating systems. So you are absolutely free. Command line Destinies, not currently available, but you never know. Someday. I shouldn't say that. My software development team might just jump out of their seats and start working on that right now. But yes, you can absolutely play. I will say the one thing you do need is a webcam or device to be able to scan cards. It's a big part of the gameplay. And it's how you react to the world with the items and quests that you've collected. So you do need to have a device that has a camera. Oh, yes, this was Carol saying yes. So both modules, both adversity and character traits, can be played with together. Oh, Chris, look at that guy on screen waiting for the Destinies as expansion and Puffin Adventure. Oh, You're looking very well, Chris. I hope all is very good. And just as soon as I said it, Marcin, our chief technical officer, pokes his head in. I shouldn't say anything about software and apps when Marcin's here. He's going to shoot me. Can I get a French translation, please? So, hello, Casero, form, you okay? So, confirm as. So, thank you, Florivo. So, I think you've basically just confirmed what I said. Yes, Witchwood can be played 2v2. It has been confirmed by Addons, and it's good. I hope that's what that says. Glad to back again. This amazing game, and looking forward to visit the Dark Quarter soon. Florivo, thank you very much. Translating and spreading love. Thank you. That is incredibly kind. Rolling with Rock, talking about storage and tabletop presence. You can always use those beautiful orange, white, and black X trays to hold all those bits. I love them, I must admit. The X trays are just literally, I think they're in like every game I play now. I pretty much try and put an X tray on the table. Lukash, sorry, says, do you have any surprises for us? Maybe some extra unexpected addition? You don't have to answer. All you need is a signal. Lukash knows me very well. I cannot keep a secret. Okay, I will. I'm being very good. Honestly, I feel like I'm maturing. I'm being really good these days. Look, I will say we've made this quite a short campaign. It's only 18 days. And honestly, we really wanted to just focus on the content more than anything. So we will have plenty of updates. We have lots of stuff to talk about, and there's things that the studio want to share, and there's art and miniatures and stories and stuff that want to be talked about, and there's loads of community scenario stuff to talk about. There's even the Destinies writing competition, which closed at the start of October, that hopefully we're going to announce the winners of in a few days. But I'll simply say that don't expect anything major to be revealed, Wukash. At the moment, with this campaign, this is really for us just a chance to expand the world a bit, add a few extra nice components and deluxification on there, and add 5 new scenarios. So no stretch goals or any big reveals. Sorry to be a bummer. There's a box of secrets right by his feet. He just won't share. If there was a box of secrets by my feet, there's no way I'll be keeping it secret. Plum Plume, can we have more details of the storage box? I won't repeat, because actually, Plum, once the stream's over, if you go back to like the middle, I actually literally did a whole section where I talked about the storage box and kind of went through it in detail. I'll not sort of go through it in a massive amount again, because I think I've kind of covered it a little bit to death. So let's actually, hold on. Let's have a look through. Is there anything on the campaign that we haven't really spoken about that I want to mention? So let's scroll down. That's what, nearly another 100 backers since we went live. That is so wonderful. There's us. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm just, to be honest, at this point, we've kind of talked around a lot of things. I'm just going to see, is there anything that I haven't mentioned that I should definitely mention so far? But, do you know what I want to mention? The absolute volume and just overwhelming positivity that came from our Spanish community. Oh my word, as soon as we put the preview page up, we had people on Board Game Geek, we had people on Facebook, we had people on the campaign page just saying, hey, like, come and get us a Spanish edition of this. And we're so happy. We're going to be working with Last Level Games. They're going to be doing the Spanish version of everything. So Witchwood will be in there. All That Glitters will be in there. Essentially, all of the content from the previous campaign is also available in Spanish. And for the first time, every single part of Destinies, including Bound by Fate and Myth and Folklore that have been requested for a long time, will be available in Polish as well, and Italian. Like, it's just, really huge. Like, really huge to have so much support and so much language. Whenever you're talking about scenarios that take about 20,000 words, maybe 25,000 words per scenario, that's a lot of pressure to ask someone to translate and localize for their, for their territory. So to get it available in English, French, Polish, Italian, and Spanish is honestly just an amazing thing for us. Big Hill Rescue says, hello, will there be any additional shipping charges for add-ons? If so, will those prices be posted? Hey, you're very welcome, Bill Hill Rescue. Thank you so much for the question. So what I'll say is, yes. So, here we go. So if you look at these bundles, we've kind of estimated what each pledge level is going to cost for shipping. If you do add add-ons, so say for example you picked up the Deluxe Destiny Storage pledge and then you also picked up an additional add-on on top of that, yes, it will be a little bit higher than this, because essentially what we did is we went with each one of these pledge combinations, spoke to local distributors in all these different territories to work out how much it would cost. To give an example, if you put an add-on on top of it, it will cost a little bit more depending on the add-on. You will, once you get to the pledge manager stage, so after the campaign, you will be able to go in, finalize your pledge, and you'll be able to play around. You'll be able to add items in, take items out, mess around before you finalize everything, and you'll see how everything will affect your shipping before you finalize your order. So what I would suggest doing is, if you're unsure, you can pick a pledge for now, and then when the campaign's over and we open up the pledge manager, at that stage, you could go ahead and make that final decision about add-ons and see how it impacts your shipping. Because at the moment, we've just got those very rough estimates for the pledges. And Wukash says, I'm not disappointed. The game is great. I have the basic version and go full. Oh, Wukash, thank you so much. I appreciate your support and understanding as well. Really, really great. And Bree keeping me right. Yes, we should mention the bundle. So this, I'm gonna do a little bit of crowdfunding and kind of board game publisher insight for a second here. Whenever we sat down, as I said, back in January, we did a survey to backers and we asked them things like how many scenarios have you played, and we asked them things about what theme they would like to see in new Destinies content, that kind of thing. And one of the things we really wanted to try and assess was what was our common type of backer that might want more content. So for us, really, it boiled down to really two primary options. Either a returning backer who, by our survey, over 70% wanted a storage solution. So we thought we will basically put a bundle together, which will give you a storage box, and it will pre-pack in a single deluxe box, Witchwood, the two new modules, character traits and adversity, the the experience coins, the flags, the free all that glitters scenario pack, and we'll pack it all in there. So essentially you get one box, so it ships more cheaply. Also, and it's a bit boring to say this, but we pay what's called pick and pack, which is essentially where you've got an empty box and someone goes down to the warehouse and gets the base game, or gets Witchwood, for example, and then they go and get a module, and they go get another module, and they're going to go, okay, I've got 5 items here, or what would it be? It would actually be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 items. And you pay a cost for every single point, basically. So that's 7 items, 7 times whatever the cost is, and that's your pick and pack, and then they wrap it and protect it, and that's great. So what we decided was, no, to give the best shipping we can, to be ecologically friendly, to do it all as advanced as we can, we'll just say, if you want this, you're a returning backer, and you basically want everything that's new, and you want the storage box as well, we'll stick it all in the storage box for you. So when you get it, you can then take whatever content you have already. So if you've got the base game or Save Sun, whatever, pop it in the box, and that's you're done. You're good. So that was really the thought process behind that. I know we've had requests saying, hey, can you do different versions of this? Can you do it without the box? Can you do the bundles? And essentially, we're trying to accommodate everyone. It's why we've made all the add-ons available as individual items, so you can go pick up individual items that you want. I would also say, if you really want, we do have some of these items. We have some of these items on our website already. For example, we don't have all of the Italian, all of the Polish stuff there because they really haven't been printed yet, or they're brand new in some cases. And we won't have the Witchwood content, of course, but we do have upcoming in the next few days. For example, Myth and Folklore will be on the website again. Sea of Sand will be on the website again. So if you want stuff direct and you just want it now, you can order it. But hopefully, by creating these two options, so both the returning backer pledge and then also the second option we made, which was, hey, you've heard about Destinies, you're interested in getting it, but maybe you've never played it, you haven't bought anything from it. This is our way to say, hey, we'll give you all the same, and then we'll give you all of the content from the first campaign. So the core box, Sea of Sand, Myth and Folklore, Bound by Fate, and deluxe coins as well. Now, the way this kind of works is the top half section will all come in the storage box. So Witchwood, the character traits, the diversity module, the coins, the flags, all the glitters will all be packed into this storage box. And then separately, the boxes will be given for each of the items from the first campaign. It's just essentially the way the manufacturing process is set up for this. And I believe, hopefully, it's all kind of clear here. We've tried to make it as clear as we possibly can here. And we've kind of shown down the bottom exactly. So it'll come in 5 boxes. You have the deluxe storage solution pre-packed, then base game, Sea of Sun expansion, Myth and Folklore expansion, Bound by Fate, and then deluxe medieval coins as well. So we've tried to do our best to minimize the shipping impact, to take all of this, compact it as much as possible, and kind of essentially use the process we had last time and amalgamate it with a new one. And hopefully a combination between those two pledges and then the option of buying whatever add-ons you want to gives you that flexibility. So it's always hard to get options that just work for absolutely everybody, but that was the kind of thinking behind why we wanted to do that. So yeah. Oh, and Bree said we will have Myth and Folklore back on the website in the next 2 days. You heard it here first in the Europe and in US. Thank you, Bree. And Bill Hill Reggie, you're very, very welcome. Thank you so much for asking the question. So Rolling Rock said it must be a lot of work to localize this much content into different languages. It's honestly huge. Now, I don't know if any of you know this. Where is so I have Chronicles of Crime, the Millennium series. There, 1400, 1900, and Chronicles of Time are up there. Chronicles of Crime, the original base game, the London Forensic one, was like a smash hit for us. It's available in, I believe it's 25 or 26 different languages now. And Destinies has had a very similar reception, really positive, really strong, hotly demanded, but it is really a massive endeavor, to translate all of it. But I'm just going to double check. So we've got English, French, Polish, German, Spanish, Italian, Hungarian, Russian, Czech, Korean, Japanese, Chinese, traditional Chinese Mandarin, I believe. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So right now, Destinies is in 13 languages. But the thing that makes the campaign unique is that we've managed to confirm these 5 languages. So we have actually managed to confirm that English, French, Polish, Italian, and Spanish will all be for everything. So that really means adversity, all the Lucky Duck exclusive content. So adversity, character traits, also the original exclusive content like Myth and Folklore and Bound by Fate. Because often what happens is we work with publishers who will translate it in their local language, but they're only really interested in the base game and the big expansion, for example. They normally won't go into all the little individual items. So to be able to get the confirmation for everything in those languages is truly amazing. Dara says, speaking about price, I found shipping was VAT included, but what about the Mega Pledge bundle price? Will it be VAT charged in the Pledge Manager, or is it already included similar to shipping? A great question, Dara. It's already included. So we're talking about the Mega Bundle price. So let me pull this up. So this one, as it stands now, this price will not change. There will not be an extra VAT charge in this. Now, I'm going to be really honest with you. I know it can be a little bit deceptive, and we had this question, and the truth is, I want to be very open about this. The country we tend to really, really discount the shipping on is America, to subsidize the shipping and make it as cheap as possible. It sounds really silly because really even the US contiguous states is basically the same or at the top end of the price of the other territories. And that is realistically the prices we're paying with shipping in America at the moment is substantially higher than what we're paying in Europe at the moment. Now, thankfully, and we're so happy about this, the shipping prices kind of across the globe these last 6 months have improved massively. But that's what we're doing with this campaign, is we're essentially subsidizing the higher shipping prices down to account for that VAT being included. I will say it's something that we are kind of always finger on the pulse about. We want to try and treat everybody as fairly as possible. And I think in future campaigns, as we try to get more and more open about this, and as different crowdfunding platforms and pledge managers are starting to implement good software solutions for all of this, in the future, we're going to try and really make sure it's all just done openly. For now, with this campaign, we're essentially keeping it all just subsidized for the higher regions of shipping and including VAT. So no, Daru, the price will not change. You're not going to get any VAT added on top during the Pledge Manager. Is there anything I haven't really talked about? Do you know what, actually, there's one final thing I want to talk about. And it's a little bit of a boring subject in some cases, but I actually really like it. So one of the questions that often comes up is, do I have to use an app? And what happens if the app is ever not supported anymore? What happens if something was to happen that Lucky Duck couldn't update the app, couldn't modify it? The first thing I would say is that we're very unique as a company. We have an internal software development team that's actually growing, that supports apps, digital hybrid games, as we call them. We say the digital hybrid promise, which is essentially, and the way we quote it here, is it's a board game in which play is enacted through both a physical and a digital element together. So if something has a companion app, we don't consider that a digital hybrid game. We only consider it digital hybrid if it actually requires and involves the app. And what we kind of recognize is that we make a lot of digital hybrid games. It's a big part of who we are. So we had Chronicles of Crime. We then had Chronicles of Crime 1400, 1900, and 2400, all as standalone games. We had Yummy Yummy Monster Tummy. We then also did Kids Chronicles, the kids sort of family-friendly version using a similar kind of exploration and investigation game. We're doing Divinus. We've got the Dark Quarter. We've got Destinies, of course, and now Destinies Witchwood and all its expansions. We are truly invested in this long-term. Digital hybrid is a big part of who we are as a company and where we come from. So one of the things we wanted to kind of say, and I won't go through all of this, I'm just going to really mention this bottom bit because it's a question we get a lot. If there ever comes a time that we're unable to support the apps required to play our digital hybrid games, we will make the apps open source or widely available for the community to freely use. Essentially what we're saying is these are part of us. If there ever comes a time that we're unable to keep updating them, we will make sure that they still exist and that your game is playable. Because the last thing we want is a digital hybrid game sitting on a shelf not being played, you know? So it's been 6 years Lucky Duck Games have been around, and hopefully we're here for 60, 600 more. You know, who knows where it's going to go. But this is a huge part of who we are. And this digital hybrid promise is something that we're going to work on. We want to communicate better. We want to make sure people know. And it's really on us to make sure that you have confidence when backing our digital hybrid games. And it's something I feel really passionate about. Ian Everett says, was just going to get the expansion, but then saw the deluxe box pledge. Sorry, not sorry, Ian. Okay, any final questions, folks? Get them into me. I'm going to go back to the campaign here, and I'm going to say a good night to everybody. We managed, this is absolutely incredible. We got over 125 backers while being in this last live. That is truly marvelous. Okay, I was actually just saying, I was getting some messages there. Okay, cool. Any final questions, folks, before I look to wrap up? This has been a really nice hour. It's been really nice to chat and engage with some of you. Need to head out. Thanks for a lovely and informative chat. Richard, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm going to be heading out myself. It's going to be an 18-day long campaign. We're going to have updates throughout that are going to talk about a lot of these elements in writing as well. We're going to show some of the miniatures, show some of the artwork, some of the cards and elements of the game. There's a bunch of playthroughs still to come and be shared. And obviously we'll be on talking, answering all the comments and reacting to everybody there as well. So looking forward to an exciting campaign really over the next 2.5 weeks. Okay, well with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to put on the trailer at the end because I so love it. Kyle sneaks one in right at the very end. So if there's a new base game, would there be a completely new app? That's a great question. Great question. So I can't answer completely because I guess it would depend on what functionality the app would need. But what I would say, so for example, I'm just loading up here the Chronicles of Crime app, which originally, when it first came out, had London Forensic, and then it had extra scenarios, downloadable scenarios. Then it also had Noir, and it also had Welcome to Redview. But then we brought out 3 more standalone games, plus another expansion, and we were able to add 1400, 1900, 2400, and Chronicles of Time in there as well. So there's actually, if I get this right, 4 base games in there, and 3 expansions in there, all inside the one Chronicles of Crime app. Could we do the same with Destinies? Definitely. Definitely an option. Do we want to evolve Destinies? I'm going to sneeze. Oh, going to mute my mic. Excuse me. Could we evolve Destinies so that it actually kind of surpasses the app and maybe needs to have more features and thus would be better on its own? Thank you. Possibly. It's really a very open book right now. I really don't want to give anything away, but all I'll say is me personally, as sitting in this chair talking to you right now, if you told me I could have Destinies in Cyberpunk, Mass Effect, space exploration, planet discovering, investigating anomalies kind of setting, and it had all the same systems and essentially the same functionality, and it was inside the same app, would I be on board? Yes, I would. Is that something we're going to do? Absolutely no idea. Absolutely no idea. That's not planned and nothing to do with this campaign, but it's something that, essentially, to answer your question, I think the Destiny system, the skill system, the item system, the interaction, the storytelling, how the app interacts with the world, how it gives player decision freedom, how the world reacts, has really been very well received. And I think that the world is our oyster and where it could go. So always open to more ideas. I got a bit excited at the thought of that, and now my imagination is like running away with myself. Thanks for all the knowledge you gave us. Take care. Rukash, thank you so much for being here and being involved. I truly, truly appreciate it. It's lovely to talk to you. Personally, it gives me a huge amount of energy. Hello, Wim the Webmaster. Bye, Wim the Webmaster. We're leaving. Watch the stream back. Watch the stream back. There's good content. Bye-bye. Can't see Paleo behind you. No, Rukash. All of my games are English games. I, unfortunately, don't have access to the amazing Polish, Italian, or French libraries that we have. I know, give it to me. He looks so guilty. Shh, Steph. Shh, 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 shh. Okay. All right, folks. Have a lovely day, evening, afternoon, whatever time it is for you. I'm going to finish with the incredible Witchwood trailer by Oniro, and I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you very soon, I hope.
Long ago, a pact was made between man and the dwellers of the wood. By the terms of this agreement, men should keep to their villages and paths, scattered through the vast forest like embers of light. What lies beyond belongs to other, older masters, creatures of ancient magics who don't look kindly upon trespassers. Despite the pact, daring souls still choose to explore the woodland labyrinth in search of adventure, treasures, and secrets. Welcome to Witchwood Adventurer, where your destiny awaits. Destinies Witchwood is a new expansion for the highly acclaimed Destinies. Witchwood offers you the chance to explore a folklore-inspired, fantastical world. Take on the role of an intrepid character seeking to fulfill one of your possible destinies. Destinies Witchwood on Gamefound, October 20th.